In today's video, I'm sharing with you an amazing method to get the most tender, juicy, succulent turkey for your Christmas table. Most of the prep is done a few days ahead, giving you more time for all the other Christmas activities. We are going to start with making the stuffing. Here I have 500 grams of pork mince. This could be chicken or even turkey mince if you don't eat pork. Half of a large white onion, a small bunch of sage, a small amount of thyme, and 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. For the onion, just give it a fine dice. There's a link to a video in the description box below if you want to learn how to do this. Then place a frying pan or a skillet onto a low heat. Add a little cooking oil, the diced onion, and a pinch of salt. Gently sweat down the onions until they are translucent and smelling sweet. Then put them onto a plate or a tray to cool down. In a mixing bowl, combine the pork mince, breadcrumbs, chopped sage, and thyme leaves. For the sage, just pick the leaves off the stalks, roll them into a cigar and run your knife through them one time only. And for the thyme, just pull the leaves from the stalk by running your fingers from top to bottom. Then to the bowl, add the cooled diced onion and a good pinch of salt and cracked black pepper. Give everything a good but gentle mix. We don't want to be too rough with the meat at this stage because it will toughen up. Take a pinch of the mix and flatten it into a mini burger shape, then place it into the frying pan from earlier. Fry that burger for 2 minutes until it's cooked through. This is a little taster to see if your seasoning is in balance, or it's a little treat for all your hard work so far, whichever way you want to look at it. My mix needs a touch more salt. It's totally worth doing this little test. It's rare to get your seasoning perfect first time. Cover that bowl and place it in your fridge until you need it. On to the star of the show. Here I have a 6.5 kilo, 14.3 pound, whole, unseasoned, natural turkey. I'm going to use this boning knife today, but this butchery is possible with most unserrated knives. I recently did a video on how to completely break down any bird from start to finish. I'm going to go through this butchery more simply and quickly today. If you want something more in depth, then I'll link to that video below. Start by making an incision in the skin between the legs and the body. Hold the turkey up by one of its legs and slice around the joint between the thigh and the body, separating the whole leg from the body in one piece. Repeat the same process for the other leg, then you should have something that looks like this. 2 legs and the main body of the turkey, all separate. Next, we need to debone the legs. Flip the leg over so the side with the most skin is facing down. There are 2 long bones joined by a knee joint in the middle. Feel for where the 2 bones run and start to slice in the same direction as them with your knife until you hit the bone. Then work your way around either side of the bones until they are mostly exposed. Pierce your knife under the drumstick bone and slice towards where the foot was. Lift the leg up by the exposed bone and slice down the bone to free it from the rest of the meat. Repeat this process with the thigh meat by piercing your knife under the bone and slicing out towards where the body used to be to free the end of the bone. Then lift the leg up by that free end and slice down until the meat is completely free from the bone. Have a feel around to see if there's any bone fragments or cartilage still on the meat. There's always this little area of cartilage around where the knee joint was. Slice that out, being careful not to slice through the skin on the other side. On the drumstick part of the leg, there are a few long, thin, toothpick-like bones. Slice these out as well. Repeat this exact process for the other leg, then lay down 5 pieces of oven-safe string evenly spaced on your chopping board, around 50 centimeters or 20 inches long. Oven-safe string is anything that's 100% cotton, uncolored, and unbleached. Lay one of your legs onto the string with the widest part of the meat at the top. To even out the shape of this leg once rolled, slice out the highest point of the meat and place it in the empty patch where the knee cartilage was. Get your stuffing and lay it down in a cylinder shape down the middle of the leg. Then get your other piece of leg meat. Remember to slice out that piece of meat to fill the empty patch. Lay that leg down on top with the skin side facing up so that the widest part of the leg is on the opposite side to the first leg. Take a moment to shape the pieces of meat into a cylinder and make the overall shape as even as possible. Then, starting with the second piece of string, tie it into a knot. There are many types of knots used in butchery. I like to use this one, which is super simple. Start by how you would start your shoelaces, with a left over right knot, but loop it one extra time and pull it tight. This locks the knot so you don't have to keep your finger there to hold it in place. Then just do another left to right knot to completely lock it. Repeat the process with the other pieces of string following the order of 4th, 3rd, 1st, and 5th. This keeps the shape of the meat as even as possible. Trim off the excess string and that's your boned, rolled, and stuffed turkey leg. Onto the breast meat. Hold the bird up by one of its wings, and halfway between the first wing joint and the joint on the body, make a slice and run your knife around that bone 360 degrees. You can also do this by spinning the whole turkey, but turkeys are heavy, so this way is a little easier. Then bend that wing back until the joint dislocates and comes free. You should be left with a nice, clean, exposed bone. Repeat the same for the other wing. Then turn the body 90 degrees and slice the rear section of the body off. This can be a little tricky, so just find the gap in the spine and push your knife through. This is now a crown of turkey. The beauty of doing these steps is we can roast this bird for a lot less time, resulting in a more tender, juicy, succulent meat. Also, with the bones that we have separated, we can make a delicious stock for the gravy ahead of time, so we can have a more relaxed and more delicious Christmas day. That's a win-win in anybody's book. Optionally, you can remove the wishbone. The wishbone runs down either side of the neck opening here. You don't have to do this, but this makes carving the turkey a lot easier. Feel for where the bone is and pierce your knife in behind the bone and out the other side. Then firmly come down with your knife until you break through the bone. Do the same with the other bone and slice upwards with your knife towards where the bone meets. Then get a grip on the bone and twist it until it comes free. This process can be a little fiddly, but it's totally worth doing. If you get it out whole, then Santa will bring you an extra special gift. Now, with your hand, go in from the neck end with your fingers and gently free the meat from the skin. This gives us a super crispy golden skin by letting some air in between the skin and the meat. Take your time and be gentle so you don't tear the skin. Then trim off any excess skin at the neck end, leaving a little extra for shrinkage. Time to dry brine this turkey. Here I have 1.5 tablespoons of sea salt. Weights down in the description box below. Lift the skin up from the neck end and sprinkle in a few pinches of salt. Then gently rub it into the meat. Flip the turkey upside down and season the underside a little. Then season the outside of the skin as well. I've used around 1 tablespoon of salt for the crown. With the stuffed leg, use the other half tablespoon, evenly covering the outside all the way round. We are using less here because the stuffing is seasoned. That's it for today. We are going to dry brine this turkey for 24 to 72 hours. Because we've broken the turkey down, it's a lot easier to store in the fridge, compared to wrestling a whole bird and having to evict all your other ingredients out of your fridge for 3 days. 72 hours later, and it's the day to cook and eat this turkey. Here is a table of cooking times for how much time you need to give yourself to have a hot, juicy turkey on the table, perfectly timed. So, following the table, I have a 2.5 kilo, 5.5 pound turkey crown, and I want to eat at 3 p.m. this afternoon. So, subtract 1 hour for the resting time, subtract 2 hours for the cooking time, and subtract 1 hour to warm up from the fridge. So I'm bringing my turkey out of the fridge 4 hours earlier at 11 a.m. My leg weighs 1.4 kilos, 3.1 pounds. This may cook a little quicker than the crown, but it should be roughly the same in any case. Place a large frying pan onto a medium heat, let that heat for 2 minutes, add a splash of cooking oil and carefully place the leg in. Fry this, rotating it regularly until you have an even golden skin all the way around the meat. This took me 15 minutes to get it evenly golden on that medium heat. Preheat your oven to 180 Celsius, 355 Fahrenheit if you have a fan-assisted oven, or 200 Celsius, 390 Fahrenheit for an oven with no fan. Place 2 white onions sliced into discs into the roasting tray with some carrots sliced in half, a few celery sticks, a couple of rosemary stalks, and some thyme. This is known in the chef world as a trivet. It serves 2 purposes. It keeps the meat off the bottom of the tray and makes a delicious base for your gravy. Place the crown and the stuffed leg on top of the veg. Optionally, place a few slices of butter under the skin of the crown to get a more golden, crispier skin. And once your hour out of the fridge is over, load the whole tray into your preheated oven. I'm cooking this for 2 hours and I'm going to baste the meat 3 times during the cooking process at half-an-hour intervals. I'm starting the crown with the cavity facing down, so the butter melts evenly across the breast meat. Then on the first base, I'm flipping it up so it's sitting on the wing joints. During my third and final baste, around 3/4 through my total cooking time, I'm using my meat thermometer on the stuffed leg joint and the crown to get an idea on how much longer they need. The leg is at 71.4 Celsius, 160 Fahrenheit, and the crown is at 70 Celsius, 158 Fahrenheit. I want them both a little higher than this. 30 minutes of roasting later, my turkey is fully cooked, smelling and looking amazing. Using the meat probe again and going into the same hole I made last time, you only want to stab the meat once because the juices will run out of any holes that you make. The crown is at 74 Celsius, 165 Fahrenheit. With a rest, this temperature will rise to around 80 Celsius, 176 Fahrenheit. The leg meat is a lot more forgiving because it has some intermuscular fat, which helps to keep it moist. So anywhere above 76 Celsius, 168 Fahrenheit is good. Rest the turkey covered in foil for at least half the cooking time, anywhere up to the entire cooking time. This is a handy variable to get everything else hot to the table and have a juicier, more tender meat. Another win-win. Don't worry, the meat is always hot. Covered in foil, it holds its heat for a very long time. My next video will show you how to make an incredible gravy from the vegetables from this roasting tray, so make sure you subscribe and don't miss that video. Take a look at how great this turkey looks and how unbelievably juicy, tender and succulent the meat is. Follow these steps in this video and you can get amazing results like this whilst having a more relaxed Christmas cooking experience. Enjoy guys, and happy Christmas. Go check this video out for more from my Christmas series, and I'll see you next time.